Hey you guys, I heard you liked the stories yesterday, but you wanted to see me. That is so sweet. I miss you guys so much, and I want to see you too. On Monday, we're gonna Zoom at 11 o'clock, just like last time, and you'll be able to see me and Miss Lauren and all of our friends. Until then, I thought we'd do another story time, and this time you can see me. All right, first, I'm gonna read you guys Julia's House for Lost Creatures. It's one of my favorites. It's very pretty. It's written and illustrated by Hatke. Julia's house came to town. Oops, and settled by the sea. That evening there was a warm fire and toast and tea, and all the house was quiet. Too quiet. So Julia ran to her workshop. She got out her tools and her paints and went to work. She made a sign. She hung the sign up outside the front door. It said, "Julia's House for Lost Creatures." And then she waited. She didn't have to wait for long. Scratch, scratch. Wonder who's there. The sign worked. Patched up Kitty came to stay, and it was nice to have a friend, even if he wasn't like other kitties. See that silly kitty walking on the wall? Before long, there was another knock at the door. It went boom, boom, boom. It was a very sad troll. The city had torn down his bridge, and he asked if he could please stay, just until he could get back on his feet. Julia had just settled the troll into her best chair when there was another knock. There were also scrapes, scratches, whines, bangs, barks, and bellows. Look at all those creatures that need somewhere to stay. Soon Julia's house was filling up with lost and homeless creatures of every description. They asked for towels and soap, tea and toast. They had ideas of their own. They spilled things and didn't clean up. And then the troll found Julia's old record player. They look like they're having fun. "Stop!" shouted Julia. "Everybody stop!" The creatures stopped what they were doing and stood shuffling their guilty feet. Julia ran to her workshop and closed the door. She stayed in there for a long time. When she finally came out, Julia had a new sign. Now everyone had a job. Julia's chore chart. Each creature has a chore. Let's see. There's chores for the kitchen and the dishes and the floors and the dusting and cleaning the fireplace. Are you guys helping your moms and dads while you're at home? I hope so. The dragon made toast and the mermaid washed the dishes. The Folletti tended the fire, the goblins mopped up, the ghost was in charge of dusting, and the troll picked out the music. There they go, they're all cleaning. Much nicer for Julia now. She doesn't have to do everything all by herself. At last, there was a warm fire and tea and toast for everyone, and all the house was quiet again, except whoosh, drip, 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 creak. So Julia got out of bed and made one more sign. She put it up outside the door, and then she waited. Tap, 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 tap. She didn't have to wait for long. Here's her sign. It says, "Help wanted, repairs, odd jobs, and plumbing." Now they have someone to help fix everything too. The end. All right, let's read another one. This one is called Giraffes Can't Dance. It's written by Giles, Andreae, and illustrated by Guy Parker Reese. So if you guys remember, the person who wrote it did all the words that I'm reading, and the illustrator made all the beautiful pictures. All right. Giraffes Can't Dance. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots on trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. He's pretty clumsy like Miss Angela, huh? Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad, because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. The warthogs started waltzing, and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor, but the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. "Hey, look at clumsy Gerald," the animals all sneered. "Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird." That's not very nice, is it? I think they probably hurt Gerald's feelings. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. "They're right," he thought, "I'm useless. Oh, I'm such a clot." So he crept off from the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone. Then he found a little clearing and looked up at the sky. "The moon can be so beautiful," he whispered with a sigh. "Excuse me," coughed a cricket, who'd seen Gerald earlier on, "but sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song." Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying and his tail swishing around. What is he doing? He threw his arms out sideways and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt into the air. Look at Gerald. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. "I'm dancing, yes, I'm dancing. I'm dancing," Gerald cried. Then one by one each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle, we must be in a dream. Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen." "How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how." But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. We all can dance, he said, when we find the music that we love. You guys want to see Sydney? Come here. She keeps sitting by the camera. This is Sid. She's not going to sit with me because I don't have her special blanket in my lap. She's a little hairy. All right, we're going to do one more for this time, okay? Let's do Where the Wild Things Are. Stories and pictures by Maurice Sendak. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. He's chasing that poor dog. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. Gotta be nice to your mom. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. And grew. And grew until the ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day. Has his name on it right there. It says Max. And in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with a magic trick of staring into their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. And they made him king of the wild things. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. Dancing. Climbing some trees. That looks like they're having a parade. Now stop, Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all the wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being the king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said no. The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through the day and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. The end. All right, we'll do another story time later. I love you guys so much. Be good for your moms and dads. Mwah.